Before we get started, heavy spoiler warning. This video will contain spoilers. If you haven't seen the movie, please go and see it and then come back to this. Sorry.
Oh, I'm so nervous.
So Spider-Man No Way Home, the best superhero movie of all time, in my opinion. I didn't think Infinity War could ever be beaten for that, but maybe it's biased because Spider-Man's my favourite superhero, but this movie is absolutely off the chain. The film explores our friendly neighbourhood Spider-Man reeling from the events of Spider-Man Far From Home, which saw Mysterio reveal Spider-Man's true identity. When Peter Parker is no longer able to separate his life to Spider-Man's, he seeks the help of Doctor Strange. When things go terribly wrong, Peter starts to encounter villains very familiar to us across different universes.
Hello, Peter.
I really don't know where to start when talking about this movie. There's just so much to cover. Going into this movie, the hype surrounding this was unlike any other movie I've ever seen before. All social media was just full of Spider-Man stuff, well, for me anyway. And all the leaks about Tobey and Andrew being in the movie, the hype around it was just so high that I was scared when I went there if they weren't in it and the movie was still good, we were all going to be disappointed. But somehow they kept that secret so well, even though there was lots of leaks. I felt like they might have been strategic leaks to get us excited, but either way, they didn't reveal anything until we actually saw it in the movie theater. And I saw this on opening day, and it's honestly the best experience I've ever had at the movies. So I've seen the movie 5 times now, and honestly, when you watch a movie that many times, it starts to get less exciting, but this movie, I have not lost interest. I can't wait to see it again. There's never a dull moment. From the beginning of the movie, we explore Peter Parker struggling now that everybody knows who he really is, and that only lasts for about 10-15 minutes, and straight away, he goes to Doctor Strange, and he casts the spell, it goes wrong, and the first fight between him and Doc Ock is literally in the first 15-20 minutes of the movie. And from there, it's just non-stop. It's absolutely fucking awesome. I'm not one to clap and cheer during movies. I actually find it really annoying. It just takes you out of it. But I could not help myself in this movie. It was seeing it in a sold-out theater, everybody going crazy when Andrew came through that portal and then Tobey comes through the portal. The movie was just out of this world. When this movie was announced, I think it was 1.5 years ago, and the rumours started circulating that Alfred Molina was coming back to reprise his role as Dr. Octopus.
Butterfingers.
I felt like something magical was on the cards. If they're bringing back all these villains, why wouldn't they bring back the other 2 Spider-Man? And the trailers first came out, it was confirmed he was in it. Willem Dafoe came back to reprise Green Goblin.
You know how much I sacrificed?
Jamie Foxx came back to reprise Electro. And based on the trailers, this movie was going to be insane. The fact that we got to see Andrew Garfield, Tobey Maguire as Spider-Man again, and not only in their own separate movies, but in the same movie, it was just absolutely fucking awesome. Honestly, it was fucking surreal. The whole time I was sitting in the theater for the first time, second time, third time, fourth time, fifth time, going to see it a 6th very soon. It's honestly surreal that they managed to do this, and they had the idea to do this, and they pulled it off in such a way where it was just the best time. The fact that they were able to keep it such a secret, and I feel like all the leaks showing photos of all three Spider-Man, the leaks of Daredevil, the costume leaks, I feel like they were strategically done to create a lot of hype because the movie was so fucking hyped. And the fact that all the predictions and rumors were true, and they didn't, no matter how much money they thought they'd make by spoiling it and showing you them in the trailer, Andrew and Toby I'm referring to, they never did. And they saved it for the theatre. They let us have the experience, and it was just amazing. So good. Tom Holland did an amazing job in this movie. His range as an actor in this was amazing. We're finally getting to see the true Spider-Man. In comic books, Spider-Man gets fucked over every 2 seconds. His life is so miserable, and Tom Holland's series, he's always had help from Tony Stark, all the other Avengers, his Aunt May, his two best friends. But ending this movie, we see that in the new trilogy, he's going to be on his own, and he finally gets to be Spider-Man on his own, and I honestly can't wait. One thing that made the movie so good is when all three Spider-Man were on screen, it just seems so natural. I don't know if they were improvising their lines. I'm pretty sure some of them had to have been improvised, but it was so... the way they were interacting with each other, it was so funny, and it was just so amazing. The fact we were seeing that on screen still fucking blows my mind. One thing that made the movie even better, yes, bringing back Andrew Garfield, Tobey Maguire is absolutely phenomenal. I was scared that, not that they would have forgotten how to play Spider-Man, but they'd be different. And they are both exactly the same. Tobey Maguire is the exact same Spider-Man as he was in, what's his last movie, 2007, I believe? He's the exact same. He even, when he comes in through the portal, he does his signature wave he does in all the other movies. Andrew Garfield was off the chain. The best Spider-Man in my opinion. He's always been my favourite. His movies, they don't deserve the bad rap they get. Willem fucking Dafoe in this movie. I've said this to a few people and it's caused a bit of uproar, but his performance as Green Goblin, to me, it rivals Heath Ledger's performance as Joker, and I think it may just beat it. This movie really proves you can't trust Marvel's trailers. You can't base what you think might happen off Marvel's trailers because they are so fucking deceptive. I remember watching this movie, when the first time I was watching it, I turned to my brother and what was happening, I did not know what the fuck was going on. So when Spider-Man basically invites all the villains back to his place to try and cure them, that was honestly the last thing I thought they would have done. And my brother was shaking his head like, what the fuck is going on? I thought the same, but the way they explained it, Peter Parker has, you know, a soft spot. He doesn't want to hurt people. He wants to save everybody. He's sort of persuaded by his aunt, and when everything goes wrong, the movie just kicks into a new gear. The fight between him and Goblin in that apartment complex is fucking unreal. That fucking spine buster from the Goblin to Spider-Man. Let's talk about that one scene of all three Spider-Man running off the scaffolding, swinging together. For me, that is not only the best superhero moment of all time, I think for me it beats Avengers Endgame, the portal scene at the end, but it might be my favourite scene in movie history. All the CGI was pretty much perfect. There was a few things upon rewatching and unfortunately it's one of the best parts of the movie where the CGI was kind of whack. When Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man comes through the portal, he does look like very fake, but that made it didn't take away the experience. I barely noticed it. That was upon rewatching. That's really the only nitpick I have with this movie, some of the CGI, but everything else, it's honestly the perfect superhero film. It had absolutely everything, so many characters, and you'd think Avengers, you couldn't beat it. All those superheroes in that movie. But this one here, you just, Doctor Strange, all three Spider-Man, the original Spider-Man villains, it just made for the best experience I've had watching a movie, and I honestly can't wait to watch it again. Buy the Blu-ray, the 4K, fucking everything. Marvel and Sony just did a phenomenal job. All the actors did a phenomenal job. And I'm just so happy that this movie was made. I still can't believe it was made. And I'm so excited to see what they do next. So, this movie obviously gets a fucking 5 out of 5. As a legit score, for my score it's 100 out of 5. It's honestly the best superhero movie I've ever seen.
They love me.
So if you haven't seen it, please go and see it. If you're a fan of Spider-Man, you're going to absolutely love it, obviously. Even if you've seen previous Spider-Man movies, you're not a big fan, you're still going to have an amazing time in this. And if you saw it without seeing any spoilers, you would have had the greatest time. I remember the day of seeing the movie, no, actually 2 days before, I deleted all social media, YouTube, everything, out of fear. I had a few friends that opened up YouTube, and there was literally people filming their screen, got spoiled. And I'm just so grateful I didn't see any spoilers, because it was honestly like the best movie experience I've had. So definitely go out and see it. This one's absolutely fucking phenomenal. And I appreciate you watching. Cheers.
Butterfingers.
You know how much I sacrificed?